See you at lunch. We have Spanisholage today. Clean? Upstairs.
Falling down and worshiping you.
Ah, Mr. Bierce.
Hello, Walt. Oh, yes, this is an acquaintance of mine, Miss Atherton. She'll be staying for lunch.
Oh, good. Spanish olives today.
All right.
And, Mr. Bierce, there's a gentleman here to see you in the parlor.
Thank you.
Hello, Bierce.
What a surprise.
Sorry for not contacting you first, Mr. Bierce, but we need to discuss this.
Mr. Hearst, may I introduce you to Miss Gertrude Atherton? Miss Atherton, this is William Hearst, my former employer. He publishes the San Francisco Examiner.
Pleasure.
Mr. Hearst.
Miss Atherton has traveled all this way to discuss literature with me. She's a writer herself, or rather a novelist.
Contemporary opinion is nearly unanimous in considering novelist writers.
Novels are just short stories, padded. Most of them, their covers are too far apart.
Witty, Mr. Bierce. The trouble with you is that you cannot write novels. All short story writers are jealous of novelists.
Your experience and mature judgment will no doubt make you famous someday, Miss Atherton, as a critic. Miss Atherton, do you agree that we need refreshment?
Yes. We're in agreement on that.
Mr. Hearst,
By all means.
sit down.
Cup of tea, please.
Lemonade.
Brandy.
Review of your book, Bierce. The Civil War as We Did Not Know It. Tales of Soldiers and Civilians by Ambrose Bierce.
May I see it?
It should read, famed columnist for the San Francisco Examiner, Ambrose Bierce. Or is it former columnist?
It's all in my letter.
This is a very favorable review.
You mean it doesn't compare me with Poe?
I should be pleased to be compared with Poe.
I'm sure you would.
Bierce, you're not serious about resigning, are you?
Yes?
You say you were censored?
Yes.
Oh, this is good. Ambrose Bierce catches the vision of the human race, trapped and betrayed in the wilderness of the world.
The editor insists it was nothing, that he made small cuts, trims.
Trims.
To literature.
All right.
Mr.
Bierce.
Please.
Thank you. I was just about to ask if you would indulge us with a reading from your new book.
Fortunately, I don't have a copy with me.
Fortunately, I do.
Miss Atherton, I am not in the habit of performing ladies' parlor readings.
I believe you underestimate me, Mr. Bierce. Mr. Hearst, very pleased to meet you.
Yes, a pleasure.
I came here to meet the man behind the book. I'd heard stories of bitter Bierce. Perhaps they're true. I'll leave you in peace.
Miss Atherton, I'm impressed that you carry a copy of my book. I'll read for you. Victim of an ambush.
Why the title, Tales of Soldiers and Civilians?
You see that? That's what civilians think war looks like. Soldiers, on the other hand. One kind of officer. The fighting of the day before had been desultory and indecisive. The general engagement that all expected did not occur. Anxious commanders pushed skirmish lines silently forward into the dubious region between the known and the unknown.
One of these points was held by Captain Ransom's battery of 4 cannons. An army has a personality. Beneath the individual thoughts and emotions of its component parts, it thinks and feels as a unit. On that dismal morning, this great brute force, groping at the bottom of a white ocean of fog, had the dumb consciousness that all was not well, that a day's maneuvering had resulted in a faulty disposition of its parts. Orders were obeyed with a mechanical fidelity. No one did more than his duty.
The men are cowardly today. The men are cold.
Captain Ransom, it is not permitted to you to know anything. It is sufficient that you obey my order, which, permit me to repeat. If you perceive any movement of troops in your front, you are to open fire. And if attacked, you are to hold this position as long as you can. Do I make myself understood, sir?
Lieutenant Price, the General's meaning is clear, is it not?
Perfectly.
Cameron, anything up? Found a good place for your battery, I hope. if one place is better than another in a fog.
Yes, General, my battery is very well placed. I wish I could say it was as well commanded.
Oh, what's this? Ransom? I think he's a fine fellow. And in the army, we should be proud of him.
He is too fond of his opinion. By the way, in order to occupy the hill he holds, I had to extend my line dangerously. The hill is on my left. The left flank of the army.
The left flank? Oh, no. Hart's brigade is beyond.
Hart?
Yes. He was called up in the night from Drytown and ordered to hook on to you. Better go back and see.
Yes, General.
Well, Morris,
Lieutenant Price has directed me to tell you, sir, that most of the infantry has been withdrawn. We have not sufficient support.
yes, I know.
I am to say that some of our men have been out over the works, out over 100 yards, and report that our front is not picketed.
Yes.
They were so far forward that they heard something.
Yes.
They heard the rattle of the wheels of artillery and the commands of officers. The enemy is moving toward our works.
Who are the men who made that statement?
Corporal Hassman and Gunner Manning.
Sergeant, give my compliments to Lieutenant Price and direct him to open fire with all guns.
Yes, sir.
Well, my men, you've had a pretty fight of it. Captain Ransom, you have been fighting our own men. Our own men, do you hear? Hart's brigade.
General, I know that.
You know it. You know it? You know that and you sit here smoking? Damn it, Hamilton, I'm losing my temper. Sir, Captain Ransom, be good enough to say, sir, to say why you fought our own men.
That I am unable to say. In my orders, that information was withheld.
Who was the aggressor in this affair?
I was.
Could you not have known? Could you not see, sir, that you were attacking our own men?
I knew it, General. It appeared to be none of my business. I must refer you to General Cameron.
Cameron? You mean he had anything to do with this horrible business? General Cameron lies under yonder tree, sir. He is dead, sir. As dead as any man in this army. Captain Ransom, if you have anything to say to put a better light on your incomprehensible conduct, I beg you will do so.
Where is Lieutenant Price?
You there? Are you Lieutenant Price? And what do you know of this affair, Lieutenant?
During the engagement, I discovered the true state of affairs and apprised the commander of the battery.
Yes?
I ventured to urge that the firings cease.
And?
I was insulted and ordered to my post.
Do you know anything of the orders under which I was acting?
Of any orders under which the commander of the battery was acting, I know nothing.
Captain Ransom felt his world sink away from his feet. In those cruel words, he heard the murmur of the centuries breaking on the shore of eternity.
Provost!
He heard the voice of doom. It said in cold, mechanical, and measured tones, "Ready, aim, fire." And he felt the bullets tear his heart to shreds.
He heard the sound of the earth upon his coffin, and if the good God was so merciful, the song of a bird above his forgotten grave.
Great Bierce.
But the actions of your hero, if he can be called that, seem to me improbable.
Really? It was a transcript from my own memory. I saw it before my own eyes.
You saw that?
At Shiloh. One general ordered his captain of artillery to open fire on advancing troops. The captain protested. The soldiers appeared to be Federals. For questioning orders, he was severely reprimanded. So the captain opened fire and decimated a Federal brigade. Later, when I asked him how he felt, he said, "Fine. Ask my commanding officer."
Write that for the Examiner.
Besides, Miss Atherton, as a writer, you needn't concern yourself with what is probable. There is nothing so improbable as that which is true.
But this story and the others, they must be more than mere transcripts from memory, or why wait 25 years before writing them?
When I volunteered in '61, I was young and idealistic. My very first campaigns were in the Cheat River Valley, the Allegheny Mountains. It was romantic enough. Had I seen nothing more of war, the language I had inherited, glory, valor, hero, might have expressed how I felt and thought. After Shiloh, I had to learn a whole new vocabulary. Just a moment. The story of a conscience. Captain Hartroy held an independent command, detached from the main army.
He was to defend an important defile in the Cumberland Mountains in Tennessee. He had strongly fortified his little camp, which embraced a village of half a dozen dwellings. To a few resident civilians of known loyalty, he had given written passes admitting them into his lines for the purposes of trade. It is easy to understand that an abuse of this privilege in the interest of the enemy might entail serious consequences.
Show your pass.
Y'all have to be pretty particular, I reckon. What with all the commotion and all.
I reckon you have something to say to me which you disremembered. What might it be, neighbor?
Surrender, or you die.
I reckon this here pass from Miss Hartroy.
Pass is a forgery. I am Captain Hartroy. And you are Dramer Brune.
I am Dreamer Broom. I have on my person a map of your camp. It shows your deployment, your numbers, your armaments, your approaches, outposts. My life's fairly yours. But if you wish to take it in a more formal way than by your own hand, I promise you, I will neither resist, escape, nor remonstrate, but will submit to whatever penalty may be imposed.
It is the hand of a traitor and a spy. Come, we'll go to camp. You will not die until tomorrow. Mr. Broom, you probably do not know how I recognized you, or how I was aware of your name.
I have not sought to learn, Captain.
Nevertheless, I should like you to know, if the story will not offend. My knowledge of you goes back to the autumn of 1861. Then you were a private in the Federal Army. You were a brave soldier, a trusted soldier. To the surprise and grief of your officers and comrades, you deserted. Went over to the enemy. Soon afterwards, you were caught in a skirmish, tried by court-martial, and sentenced to be shot. Awaiting the execution of that sentence, you were confined in a freight car.
At Grafton, Virginia.
At Grafton, Virginia. A young soldier was put on guard over you. His orders were to kill you if you attempted to rise.
But if I asked to rise, he might call the corporal of the guard.
By falling asleep at his post of duty, that soldier himself incurred the death penalty.
You did?
You recognize me. You've known me all along.
I knew you yesterday when you faced me demanding my surrender. Under the circumstances, it would have been hardly becoming in me to recall these matters. I am perhaps a traitor, certainly a spy. But I should not wish to seem a beggar.
Mr. Brune, whatever your conscience may permit you to be, you saved my life at what you must have believed the cost of your own. You had only to step from that freight car and let me take your place before that firing squad. You let me sleep. You watched over me. You pitied my fatigue. And as the time drew near for the relief guard to come and detect me in my crime, you waked me. Brune, that was well done. That was great. I ought to have confessed my fault. You might have been pardoned. I resolved to do so 1,000 times, but shame. I said nothing.
It was all right, sir. I escaped the next day and returned to my colors. The Confederate colors. I should like to add that before deserting from the Federal service, I had earnestly asked for a discharge on the grounds of altered convictions. I was answered by punishment.
Your sentence was just and righteous. But if 3 years ago I had suffered the penalty of my crime, you would not again be here, in the shadow and imminence of death. Enter.
Captain, company is formed.
Lieutenant, this gentleman is a deserter and a spy. He is to be shot to death in the presence of the troops. Tell Captain Graham I direct him to assume command of the company.
Detail! Load!
It's better if you sit.
Compliance with the terms of a note Captain Hartroy left for Captain Graham, who succeeded him in command, he was buried like the deserter and spy without military honors. And in the solemn shadow of the mountain, which knows no more of war, the two sleep well in long-forgotten graves. Well, what do you think?
One word you added to your vocabulary. Tragedy.
For the individual soldier, the word is chance. At Shiloh and most other battlefields, chance was the real victor.
With all respect to your service and sacrifice, Bierce, I have to say that this view is subjective. It does not take into account the bigger picture, the grand scheme.
I've heard of it, yes, the grand scheme. These grand schemes are always bought with the humble blood of soldiers, who die often enough thinking they're fighting for something else entirely.
But there must be a purpose, or else all that blood was shed in vain.
I'll leave it to the politicians and the theologians to provide the purpose.
But the writer is one who uncovers the invisible hand of destiny operating behind all of us.
Where? Where is it? If we understood that there is nothing behind us all, then we should begin to discern our true relationship to the universe.
In reference to war.
Life is war, Miss Atherton. And to live is to be a soldier. Those who cannot face up to this are just civilians. None of us are getting out alive. But it's the civilians who will be picked off first, either by war or nature or himself. An occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge.
Peyton Farquhar was a well-to-do planter of an old and highly respected Alabama family. Being a slave owner, and like other slave owners a politician, he was naturally an original secessionist and ardently devoted to the Southern cause. Circumstances of an imperious nature, which it is unnecessary to relate here, had prevented him from taking service with the gallant army that had fought the disastrous campaigns ending with the fall of Corinth.
See a damn thing through all this brush. Are they moving on us? Oh, yes. Why, you little skirmish line. Textbook style. You looking for us, boys?
Chafed under the inglorious restraint, longing for the release of his energies, for the larger life of the soldier, the opportunity for distinction. Meanwhile, he did what he could. No adventure would be too perilous for him to undertake, if consistent with the character of a civilian who was at heart a soldier, and who assented to at least part of the villainous dictum that all is fair in love and war.
Good evening, sir. May we assist you?
Sir? Cool drink of water, please.
Certainly. Phoebe, would you kindly fetch a...
No, Phoebe. I would be happy to fetch water for the soldier.
Excuse me, sir. What word from the lines, sir? Are the Yankees close?
Yes, actually. The Yanks are repairing the railroads and getting ready for another advance. They've reached the Owl Creek Bridge.
Owl Creek, that's about,
30 miles or so. Federal Commandant has issued an order, which is posted everywhere, declaring that any civilian caught interfering with the railroads, its bridges, tunnels, or trains will be summarily hanged. I saw the order.
Well, is there no force on this side of Owl Creek, sir?
Picked post about a half-mile out, on the railroad, and a single sentinel at this end of the bridge.
Well, sir, supposing a man, a civilian and student of hanging were to elude this picket post and perhaps get the better of the sentinel, what would he accomplish?
I was there a month or so ago. I observed that the flood of last winter had lodged a great quantity of driftwood at this end of the wooden pier. It's now dry. Firm like tow.
You may have as much as you care for.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.
Good luck to you, soldier. And God go with you.
I'm with you, sir.
You will never talk me out of writing novels. But I confess, I do hope that my work is as rich as what you convey in so few pages.
You must get over your sentimentalism first. To write well, Miss Atherton, is to have the ever-present consciousness that this is a world of fools and rogues, blind with superstition, tormented with envy, consumed with vanity, selfish, false, cruel, cursed with illusions, frothing mad.
That is a rather severe doctrine.
It's the beginning of wisdom. And wisdom, as the ancients knew, is the beginning of happiness.
I believe there is a streak of the reformer in you, Mr. Bierce.
Please no, Miss Atherton. Not a reformer, only a satirist. My trade is the selling of abuse.
You see? What the Examiner, what all of San Francisco will lose if I lose Mr. Bierce. You must write, Prattle. I don't want to have to stop subscription to my own paper for lack of interest in the damned old sheet. Is it the money?
No, the pay's good enough.
Then what is it?
Will you give me your word that no one will edit my work?
That's all?
That's everything, Mr. Hearst.
I give you my word. Miss Atherton, it has been a pleasure.
Yes, Mr. Hearst.
Just wait till you see my new office, Bierce. It's really bully.
I'm sure.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help us produce more compelling historical content like this, please like, comment below, and share this video with fellow history buffs. And of course, be sure to subscribe to help keep history happening.